Like a near-perfect diamond or some other incredibly rare object, attractive men are not readily available. So when girls or pretty much anybody else comes across one, they tend to become attracted to them like magnets. And it is this same magnetism that is also what attracts not just people, but great opportunities into the lives of every attractive man. And once you understand the 4 C's of attraction, you can unlock the rare, attractive man that has been hiding inside of you all along. Now, within the most sought after, most attractive men, there are 4 fundamental traits. And even if you get just these 4 traits right, you really don't need anything else. And if for some reason you are somebody who lacks these traits, then you will unfortunately, sooner than later, find out the hard way that things don't quite go the way that you want them to. Now, the first trait of the 4 C's is cleanliness. And the good news for all of you watching is that cleanliness is also the easiest to master. When we approach strangers, particularly females, we will be judged primarily by our appearance. And the good news is that females care far less about your physical appearance than your behavior. But nonetheless, it is still a very important part of any attractive male. Other men, especially females, pay attention to the smallest details about the way that you dress and the way that you carry yourself, and they will make assumptions about you based on those things. So if you walk up to somebody and you smell like you haven't showered in weeks, people will certainly notice. Now, the reason why appearances are so important is because the way that you care for your appearance tends to reflect the way that you view yourself. And if a man can't be bothered enough to wear something other than pajamas when he goes out into public, think about what that says about how he views himself or how much value he sees in himself. Ask any girl out there, and they will tell you that bad breath is easily one of the biggest turnoffs that any man can get caught up in. And when it comes right down to it, most men don't even know that their breath stinks. Anytime I'm about to be around other people, I brush my teeth and I typically chew some minty gum for an extra kick of freshness. Now, one of the biggest turnoffs for me is definitely a female who has what you would call dragon breath, and having nasty smelling breath is one of the fastest ways to kick your attractiveness down a few points. Studies actually show that there are a few areas that females pay the most attention to when compared to everything else, and if you get these areas right, you're going to have your cleanliness score rise dramatically. Now, these areas are shoes, nails, mouth, hair, and clothes. And to be honest, that pretty much covers the whole body. So to keep it simple, make sure that your fingernails and your body hair don't make you look like something from the X-Men. Make sure that your clothes fit well, and make sure that you do not have dragon breath. Now, next up is the second C of attraction that every man should know, and surprise, surprise, it is confidence. Now, when it comes to confidence, one of the biggest mistakes that a man can make is needing a female to like him in order for him to feel good about himself. This is a mistake that so many men make all the time that makes them seem incredibly unattractive. I'll say this again. A confident man does not need a female to like him to feel good about himself. One of the fastest ways to improve your confidence is to believe in yourself no matter what, and never derive your confidence from whether or not other people like you. Never be apologetic for being who you are. What you have to understand is that there are 2 types of confidence. The first is situational, and the second is core confidence. Situational confidence is something that you have when you are in a particular situation where you feel really confident, such as a basketball player being on the court. Some men feel extra confident at work because they are in a position of power, such as being in a position of management. But the problem with situational confidence is that it doesn't translate to situations outside of that environment very well. So if you're somebody who normally feels really confident at work, that situational confidence doesn't really transfer over to your life outside of work. Now, core confidence is the type of confidence that every man should strive for, and it's basically a pure form of confidence that you feel no matter what you are doing. Core confidence is you being able to trust yourself and your abilities in any new situation that you find yourself in. This is the kind of confidence that only rare, attractive men have. And as always, core confidence comes from facing your fears and getting outside of your comfort zone regularly. Now, next up is the third C of attraction, and it's easily the most important for any man to master, and it is called congruence. Every day, we are constantly looking for congruency, or put simply, we are looking to confirm our existing beliefs about something. So if you see what looks like a super fast sports car pull up to a red light, you will most likely expect that when the light turns green, you're going to hear that massively loud and powerful engine begin to roar as the car pulls away. Why? Because the car is shaped in a way that makes it seem powerful and fast, or put simply, the car has an appearance that makes it appear to have these traits. So when the light turns green and the Lotus begins to take off and all you hear is the sound of a small vacuum cleaner, little alarm bells are going to go off in your head and you're going to think to yourself, what on earth just happened? That car that you just saw at the light, it looked like it would be so fast and powerful, but it actually ended up being really slow and weak sounding. In other words, the car's engine, or its power, or what you cannot see about it, was not congruent with what you can see, or the outer appearance of the car. Other people, particularly females, are always testing us for congruency. So if you dress and you look like a confident man, pretty much any female who has a high value and a high self-esteem is going to test you at some point to see if your thoughts, your words, and your actions are congruent with what she can see on the outside, or to see if they're congruent with the image that you are portraying to other people. In other words, she's checking to see if you're a real Lambo or just a kit car. Now, other men pay attention to congruency, but females pay very close attention to this tiny detail. And if a man fails the congruency test, it makes him come off as suspicious. Then they're going to wonder what he's hiding, and in most cases, they will just assume the worst and move away from this type of man as quickly as possible. Now, one of the biggest causes of incongruency that you guys can avoid as men is trying to be somebody that you're not. And at the core, this simply means altering your personal beliefs or standards or opinion to seek the approval or validation of others. So make sure that you're not doing that. Now, next up is the fourth C of attraction, and it's consistency. Now, even in the animal kingdom, males frequently use deception as a way to attract females, and men among our human species do the same exact thing. Many animals will try to play the role of a strong, dominant male to attract females, and initially, many of the females fall for it, but then they realize that they were actually tricked and deceived by a weak, insecure, and deceptive male. It's like one of those guys that we knew growing up who constantly moves from girl to girl, and initially they find him really attractive and his strategy works, but he can never really maintain long-term relationships with people, especially females, because they eventually figure out who he really is. This is a man who lacks consistency. Men all over the world do this in different ways. In fact, some guys lure females in with the image of a lavish lifestyle or the appearance of having endless resources, but the girls eventually see through the facade and it all falls apart. Put simply, rare, attractive men have consistency, or in other words, they are able to demonstrate over time that they truly are who they portray themselves to be. And it should come as no surprise that females are the ones who are particularly interested in verifying that you are who you say you are. And the good news is that if people are testing you for consistency, it usually means that they like you. Lots of men can put on a facade and make people think that they are something that they are not for a short period of time, but it is only rare, attractive men who are able to stay consistent with who other people think they are over a long period of time. Understanding the 4 C's of attraction and applying them to your life can help you to unlock the rare, attractive man that is hiding within yourself. And with that said, until next time, thank you so much for watching.